very much. And good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. And thank you for such an amazing job hosting this call. I'm so proud of you, Miss Cumberland, for all that you've done, for all that you're becoming, and for all what's getting ready to happen. So thank you so much for being such a great job hosting this morning's call. Thank you for being the one to introduce me to so many people. And if it wasn't for you, I'm not sure how quickly my organization would have grown. So, ladies and gentlemen, what will we talk about this morning? And I think I've shared this with you before. I am one of those guys. I'm just a trainer, teacher, whatever by heart. So I've shared with you before that before I go to bed, whether or not I'm scheduled to train, and I was scheduled to train this morning, I'm always thinking through my head, what could I train on tomorrow, just in case I get the call? What could I train on this morning? What could I share with my team that could help them go to the next step? What questions are they asking themselves? What questions do I need to have answered? And I was thinking, and I don't even want to admit how many hours. Now, it wasn't dedicated. It wasn't just thinking about this, but I gave a lot of thought. I went through all of my old notes. I was going through my Project 50,000 notes and my Super Saturday notes, my personal notes, all my notes. I even have this one master page of topics. And I have inviting and selling and edification and coaching and all this kind of stuff. And I realized what what the challenge was. I was doing what everybody does. And that was I was making this thing way, way too complicated. Way too complicated. I was reminded of a story. And the story was of a man who was seeking counsel or instruction from a Shaolin monk. Okay, follow along with me for a minute. Someone who was very accomplished in martial arts. And he just happened to be able to have some quality time, one-on-one, with a master martial artist, a Shaolin monk. And for those of you who know, the Shaolin monks were and maybe even still are considered the absolute best of the best of martial artists because they take the absolute best from each of the disciplines from all over the world and they apply it into one just best of the best art form. So you have this person who's already accomplished in martial arts and he has the opportunity to meet with one of the best, most knowledgeable, most skilled martial artists in the world. And he has the chance to have this person teach him whatever he wants to learn. So his question to this master, not is, what should I do? And I'll sprinkle in some coaching here. A lot of people want to ask, to seek counsel. How do I seek counsel? Not should I seek counsel, even though most people don't believe that they should. Most people think they need to deserve to ask counsel. Most people think that the people that they're going to get their counsel from are too busy to pick up the phone or give them advice. Here's the best way to seek counsel. Best way to seek counsel is tell somebody, this is what I'm doing. These are my results. What are your recommendations? Say it again. When you are seeking counsel, never ever ask, what should I do? Because that gives the indication, or maybe the proof, that you are clueless. Because we know what we need to do. We need to do the 4 steps. We need to schedule 4 coffee and jazz mixers. We need to have some product. We need to have a list. We need to plug in. We know what we need to do. So don't ask that question. Whenever you seek counsel, ask yourself, ask that person, tell them, this is what I'm doing. These are my results. What are your recommendations? Anybody will respect that, and they know what advice they need to give you because you've given them all the information. If you just say something like, what do I do? That person doesn't know what to tell you, and they just think that you're clueless, which probably are. All right, so back to the script. There's this man who's with this Shaolin monk, and he asks him, I want to learn the secret of Kung Fu. I mean the secret. Don't give me the basic stuff because I've already been there, done that. I need to know the secret. And the Shaolin monk, and this is a true story by the way, the Shaolin monk tells this person, well, I really want to teach you how to throw a punch. And the guy is somewhat disappointed because he realized this is a once in a lifetime opportunity to get instruction from this master, the best of the best. And he doesn't want to learn the basics. He wants to learn the secret because that's what's missing. The secret's what's missing. And the guy says, no, I know how to throw a punch. What I want you to teach me is the secret of Kung Fu. And then the master says back to him, actually saying this through a translator, he says, well, I really want to teach you how to throw a punch. And this guy's getting more and more frustrated because it took a lot of time and resources and just the stars aligning to have the best of the best, Holton Bugs, the best of the best with him in the same room. And he says, please let me just, will you do me a favor and will you teach me the secret? And the Shaolin master, he gets a little frustrated and he says, okay, well, before I teach you the secret, why don't you throw me a punch? And then I'll at least see where you are. And the guy said, okay, no problem. By the way, I know probably thousands of punches. Do you want the straight punch, the block punch, the crouching tiger punch? He started naming off all of these dozens of punches that he knew how to throw. And the master said, pick whatever punch you want. And actually, before you throw the punch, let me set something up. So he put a candle up. And he said, I want you to throw this punch as hard as you can, and I want you to stop about 1/4 inch from the candle. And the guy says, okay, maybe this guy just wants to see my form, my technique. He wants to see how closely I can control this punch to stop immediately before the candle. Okay. So he gets all excited and gets warmed up and does some calisthenics, and he throws what he believes to be a perfect front punch, and it stops exactly a 1/4 inch before the candle. And he was actually feeling pretty proud of himself. Once again, this is a true story. He's feeling pretty proud of himself. He looks over at the Shaolin master and says, what do you think? The master looks at him and says, that was good. Let me show you one of my punches, just so you can see. The guy says, okay. In his mind, he's thinking, well, it can't be too much better than my punch because that was the best punch ever thrown. It was just a punch. So now the Shaolin master, without any hype, without any excitement, throws a punch that stops clearly 1 inch before the candle, and the candle light goes out. 1 inch before the candle, it stops, but the candle goes out. And now this guy's eyes just light up like candles. And he says, I want to learn that. And then the master looks over to him and says, that's what I've been trying to tell you. I want to teach you how to throw a punch. So why did I share that story, and why did I think about that story when I was trying to decide what to teach everyone this morning? And that is, ladies and gentlemen, we're making this way, way too complicated. Could I teach you how to edify? Could I teach you how to invite? Could I teach you how to sell? Could I teach you how to train and coach and three-way calls and PS3s and show the plan, make money? Oh, yeah, I could teach all that stuff. But we're in the middle of a forest and we don't see the trees. It's always been, it always is, and always will be the 4 steps. Those are the basics. As a teacher, and we have many teachers out there by trade and just by profession, whether you do it in the classroom or whether you've done it out there in the real world with your children, with your team, with your whatever in your business. It's human nature to figure something out conceptually, to say, oh, this makes sense, and then immediately want to move on to the next topic. Because you got it. Yeah, 4 steps. Product of the product, build your list, folk coffee and jazz mixers, proven system success, got it. Now teach me the secret. But ladies and gentlemen, the secret is the 4 steps. That's it. That's all we need to know. So the more boring this job, I won't say job, but more boring this business gets, the better. That means we're focusing on what we need to focus on. It's just the 4 steps. Whenever you're confused, whenever you're wondering, Whenever someone seeks counsel to you, or you think you need to seek counsel for someone else, and you should seek counsel every single day from your plugged in upline, from your plugged in upline, the answer is still always going to be right in front of you, and it's going to be the 4 steps. And I want you to think in that way all the time. What is the proven system of success that every single diamond, every single person who I say I want to follow in their footsteps, I want to live their lifestyle, I want to earn their income, what did they do in order to achieve those levels of success? And the answer has always been, and will always be, the 4 steps. Do I have enough product to fuel my business? And Mr. Wilkins shared this on the Millionaire Mentorship Call, and Mr. MNETA has shared this, Mr. King has shared this, Mr. Bugs has shared this. Hint, hint, clue, clue, consistent message, telling you the same thing over and over and over again. You can't build a fire without the wood, and the wood is the product, the number one tool we have. And we have now so many tools. We have people like Mr. Abby Akiola, who went diamond without a gold standard DVD, without any pre-recorded conference calls, without all of these things that we use and think we need. He went diamond without any of that stuff. All he did was show the plan, make more money, show the plan, make more money, show the plan, make more money, show the plan, made more money. That's all he did. He sampled, invited, showed up, followed up, work with the willing, diamond. It wasn't fancy. And we'll get more tools. We'll get more fancy. We'll get more technology. We'll get all that stuff. And at the end of the day, the secret will always be right in front of us. The 4 steps. Do we have enough product to fuel the growth of our business? Is every single person starting with the proper product on proper auto-ship? Do they realize that this is a volume requirement so that the company can pay commission? Are you talking about this throughout your quote-unquote presentation? Are you waiting until the very end, and then they're hearing this for the very first time, and all of a sudden everybody's uncomfortable? Are you talking about the fact that in order to be in the coffee business, you need at least a little bit of coffee? In order for us to continue to be in compliance, the company has to have you move some product in order to pay us commission. Ladies and gentlemen, being a product is just the ante. That's the ante of playing the game. You go to a casino up in Tahoe or Vegas or Atlantic City, wherever you go. In order to sit down at the table, you have to put something on the table in order to play. That's your coffee. That's your list. That's your calendar. That's you plugging in yourself. That's just saying, I'm ready to play the game. When Mr. Haynes was out here graciously, once again, Northern California, last week, seemed like forever, but it was just last week, less than a week ago. Over 500, almost 600 people. Actually, I'll correct that. There were 500-600 people for the presentation. For the actual training, maybe it dwindled down to about 250. And many of the people who left were distributors. A diamond, Mr. Holton Bugg's right-hand man, comes in to California to bless us with his presence, to share his knowledge and his story, to train us in everything we need to know to have the number one lifestyle this year. Not someday, not after 20 years, but this year. And some people left. That's okay. They're not ready yet. No problem. They had to get back to work. They had to get back to miss the commute. They had to get back for some reason. They had to get back, whatever they had to get back. So now this man is sharing with us the secret. And he was talking about the basics. He was talking about, when was the last time you rebuilt your list? Have you actually gone A through Z on your cell phone or in your contacts and listed everybody and spoken to everybody and followed up with everybody? Because if you did, you'd go diamond. It doesn't get any more complicated than that, ladies and gentlemen. How big and strong, how long is your list? When was the last time You looked at the name and for whatever reason didn't call that person, either for the first time or either as a follow-up call or whatever. Because the question that we need to ask ourselves is, how badly do we want this? Do you want this badly enough to invite for 11 hours like Ms. Andrea Blackley did or like Mr. David MNETA did? I have to get the real story because I've heard it through the grapevine. I know I've heard it at least once. But I know that for Mr. MNETA's first coffee and jazz mixer, I think he invited at least 100 people. And here was his mindset. His mindset was, I'm going to do in a day what the average distributor will not do in a year. And it has nothing to do with skills, has nothing to do with past experience, has nothing to do with current finances. All it has to do is with my belief in what I'm doing and my desire to get it done. How badly do you want this? Do you want it badly enough to make 50 calls for your next event? I have no idea who's going to be presenting at OGU tonight in Houston, Texas. But it doesn't matter because it's going to be somebody who could put somebody in your business. Are you willing to invite enough people to get enough confirmations, to get enough butts in the seats, to get at least a couple people, just a couple, just the 2 people who could change your business in the seats to see what they need to see, having been exposed multiple times? Don't wait for that magic secret presentation, because that's not the secret. The secret is to expose them multiple times before they see something, because when they see something for the very first time, they need to absorb it. They need to think about it. They need to ask somebody. They need to do their own resources. They need to get their finances in line. If they're seeing it, no matter who's presenting, you could put the best prospect in front of Mr. Holton Buggs, but if they are seeing this for the very first time, they're still probably not going to sign up that night. And all we had to do was say, hey, I know that you're going to go to the event tonight. I look forward to it. I really believe you could benefit from hearing this information. Do you have 2 or 3 minutes to hear something right now to get you mentally prepared for what you're going to walk into? Get them on the sizzle call. Did that make sense from a business standpoint? Great. Well, you're going to get more details tonight, and I really look forward to having you be one of my private guests. I'll see you at 6:30. Yeah. Hey, before you get there, are you going to have internet access for a few minutes? Great. Hey, hop onto this website and check it out, because you'll actually be able to see a little bit more of the details and the information, and then when you come tonight, you'll really be prepared to get this information so you can make an educated decision. Oh, before we hang up, hold on one sec. Let me see if I can get my senior business partner on the line, because he's somebody who's actually already achieved one of the highest income and leadership levels in this organization. He might be able to answer some final questions, but he also, I want you to get a feel for the type of support that you're going to have to help you achieve the dreams you just shared with me. Hold on one quick sec. Let me see if I can get him. Ladies and gentlemen, we can make an invite and have somebody tell us they're going to attend, or we can expose them multiple times. And if you're paying attention, and by the way, as you leave, hey, take some more samples of coffee and give them out. And here's, take a look at this magazine real quick. This is the guy who I just got you on the phone with. I'm going to get you on the phone with. Within the same amount of time, with just a few minor tweaks, you can expose somebody with the coffee, with a presentation, with a sizzle call, with going to the website, with a 3-way call, and then tonight get them in front of one of your senior business partners and they'll sign up tonight. As opposed to giving an invite which followed a script, but you didn't do all the other things necessary, and now they don't even show up. And all we're talking about are the 4 steps. But if you don't have a list, you have nobody to call. If you don't have a list, then you care if this person answers your phone or calls you back or attends your meeting or joins your business. If you don't have a long, strong list, you have no posture. And you can think you believe as much as you do, but if your list is not big and strong, then you care too much whether or not someone says yes or no. You care too much about whether someone picks up the phone or calls you back or says that they're open enough to have you allow them, for them to allow you to change their life. This is just step 2. Have a list. And with that list, what do? We invite people to get information to make an educated decision. We ask them, a few of them, at least initially, to support us by buying 1 or 2 boxes of healthier coffee at $1 a cup. Or maybe we just give them some samples and have them taste it and like it and feel better and want us to supply their demand. Ladies and gentlemen, all that is step 2. We don't talk about the 10 retail customers. It's even on our updated flip chart. Get 10 coffee customers now. When? Now. As Mr. Moran would say, when? Right now. Get 10 coffee customers. It's right there. We're looking for the secret of how to get on the Case Club. We're looking for a secret on how to make it to the next Super Saturday. We're looking for the secret on how to make this thing work, how to keep our houses, how to make this thing. We were looking for the secret everywhere. And on the paper, with 4 steps, the secret is there. Get 10 retail coffee customers now with the script. It doesn't even just send you out there and say, somehow, some way, you need to figure out how to get 10 customers. Not 10 customers a day, not 10 customers a week, not 10 customers a month, just 10 customers. And the definition of a customer is someone who's buying, on average, 2 boxes a month. So that really means 20 boxes. If you can sell over a 30-day period, just 20 boxes, residual income and diamond is done. Just 20 boxes. That's 10 people buying 2 boxes. And I should have this on a webinar, but if you understand what you have right there in the palm of your hands, some more people would probably get this thing done. Every single step has gone through all of the trials and errors and due diligence and science. Every single one of those numbers, 4 coffee and jazz mixers, 2 boxes, 50 coffee builders, 50 business drink. Every single number, there's a science behind it, but we don't have time to focus on the why these things work. What you need to understand is it does work, so just do the work. That's it. 20 boxes, which really means just 10 customers, means you're selling 20 boxes times $30 a box. That's $600. $600 a month, which justifies buying a case because half of that's profit. Okay, $600 a month coming in. You do that yourself. You find 5 other people to do that. All of a sudden, you're bringing in $112.50 of residual income. I'm not going to take you through the math, but those of you who've done this and understand what you're a part of realize the key to all of this is just finding your 10 customers. If you can do it, bringing in $300 a month of residual income, selling just 20 boxes over an entire 30-day period, if you can do it, you can teach 5 people how to do it, even though it might take you a few weeks or a couple months to find those 5 people. And if you're teaching 5 people, those 5 people are on a case of coffee at the beginning of the month. They're generating 11,000. Well, hold on. It doesn't matter. That's the secret. I'm not going to walk you through it because we don't have time. The third step is your coffee and jazz mixers. As my mentors have taught me in the past, doesn't matter which one, because they're all giving me the same one message. I can tell how serious someone is about this business and their probability of success by looking at their calendar, period. I don't need to ask them questions. I don't need to know how good they can invite her. All I need to know is their calendar, which will determine how serious they are and the probability of their success. Because if you do not have your 4 coffee and jazz mixers scheduled for this week, for next week, for the last week, how are you going to get Sapphire done? The answer is it's not going to get done. It's so much better for you to have a reality check and say, these are my goals. This is my activity. Is my activity congruent with my stated goals? And if it's not, no problem. No problem. All you need to do is one of two things. Either start scratching off, marking off those goals you have, like paying off your bills, like sending your kids to college, like improving your life, like fixing your car, like getting a car, like whatever it is. Just no problem. Just start scratching off some of those goals because your activity is not congruent with those goals. Or you can jack up the activity. But the foundation is the 4 coffee and jazz mixers. Exposure is everything. If people don't know you're in the business, if people don't have the information to make an educated decision, how or why should they ever join your business? The answer is they don't and they shouldn't. It's on you to share this information with them. And if you're taking the first step by having a calendar, if you're taking the next step by actually drawing your 4 circles, all right, I feel good now, I draw my 4 circles. But if you are not scheduling on your calendar when you're going to actually invite to those 4 coffee and jazz mixers, you might as well just cross them off because you're not going to make enough calls to get enough confirmations, to get enough people to show up, to get enough people to see this, to get in your business. Schedule the events. Also schedule the times you're going to invite to those events. That should be on your calendar also. And then plugging into the system. I was sharing with the group the other day, you always want to have some type of story and maybe a light bulb will go off. Maybe this analogy, maybe this picture that I am painting will make it clear to them. And the story that I shared, I've never heard this before, is I want you to imagine that you have the world's greatest laptop. I mean, it is the best of the best, the fastest, the most advanced, the biggest memory. It can do everything. It can even make you a cup of coffee. I mean, it is the best of the best. It's a laptop. And that laptop requires power. And you plug that laptop into the wall to enable it to do all the things it can do. What would happen if you had the world's greatest vehicle, Organogold, Ganoderm, Forstad. What if you had the greatest vehicle in the world, the greatest car that didn't have gas? What if you had the greatest laptop in the planet, in history, in all of time, but you didn't plug it into the wall? What would happen to that car? What would happen to that Maserati, that Bugatti, that Bentley that everybody says they want, that Mercedes? What would happen to that laptop if you unplugged it from the wall? Eventually, and it wouldn't take very long, it's going to run out of power, it's going to run out of gas, it's going to run out of belief, and it's going to be a paperweight. It's going to be a paperweight sleeping through life, wondering on what happened. That's plugging in to the system. The millionaire mentorship call, the coffee break call, the regular live calls we're doing, the recorded calls, the 3-way calls, the weekly meetings, yes, Sapphire University, the counseling, that's plugging into the system to give you the energy, to give you the fuel, to give you the belief. We'll mix in some skills to get this thing done, but at the end of the day, the answer has always been right in front of us. Possibly the only thing I would ever change in these 4 steps is the name steps. I might change it to recipe because that makes more sense. Because when you have steps, people think maybe I can skip a step. Maybe I can jump 2 or 3 steps and get to the destination. Because if I jump, my legs are long enough. I'm running fast enough. I can make it to the 3rd step with missing steps 1 and 2. I can make it there. Because we're thinking of them as steps, where we should be thinking of them as a recipe. And I can cook a few dishes, but I know that I could cook something at least decently by following a recipe. But if I don't put the milk in, and I don't put the eggs in, and I don't do this at the right place within the creation process, the end result is going to be nowhere near what it's supposed to be. Even though the recipe's right there. You try to get creative and turn the heat down just a little bit and don't have it at 350, you have it at 1 coffee and jazz mixer a week. Or if you, instead of having the milk, you put in something else like water, it's not going to work. Ladies and all we've been talking about is the 4 steps. All we ever need to be talking about is the 4 steps. That's it. That's it. I'm going to go ahead and open up the line, see if we have any leaders who have something to say. And now it's time to go out there and not figure it out. Our job is to follow in the footsteps of success, follow in the footsteps of wealth, follow in the footsteps of greatness to get this thing done. That's it. Training's over. Any leaders out there have something to say before we go out there, follow the 4 steps, and knock out Diamond in 2011? Any leaders on the back line?
You really need to hear this information because, if you're good at kind of hitting the ball sometimes in this business, you get complacent. And I remember exactly what you're saying right now. Holton told us like 10 years ago with another company, said, my job is to take human nature away from your mindset and help you focus. And I'm listening to you and I'm hearing Holton, and that's like a good compliment for myself. I'm thinking, he's right. You get to the point where it's kind of like a buffet, a smorgasbord. You're like, okay, I know we got 4 steps, but man, maybe I should do this, and then your people come in and say, hey, I got this great idea. Man, you're so right. Keep it simple, keep it simple, keep it simple. And I'm writing notes as I'm here in the garage with my baby talking about OG for Life Go Diamond. Anyway, I said, my goal to myself after hearing this is I want a 1-inch punch. And I can understand that because I'm a mixed martial art guy, so that really hit home for me, man. So thank you for sharing that and kind of bringing my mindset back to the sniper rifle viewpoint. So thanks, man.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Gosling. And ladies and gentlemen, I've taken some notes over the past 19 months. I've taken some notes. I was looking at all my journals last night, just note after note, because I was looking for what to train on. I was looking for the secret. I was looking. And meanwhile, there's this one sheet of paper. This one sheet has everything I need to know. I'm not saying notes aren't important because they are. But the secret are those 4 steps. That's it. Any other leads on the back line have something to share before we get out there? Going once.
Mr. Richardson.
Yes, yes. Who's this?
This is Miss Quinones. How are you, sir?
I'm absolutely amazing, young lady. Share something with us this morning.
I just want to thank you for the amazing training. I'm a fan of the basics. I really am, because we really do make this too difficult. I'm not, this is my first time in network marketing, and so I'm not a professional. I don't have a lot of those horror stories that other people have, and the things that I've heard, in other companies, and I just kind of I sit back and I listen to other people's stories about, the things that they had to go through and how difficult it was, and what they went through, and just, the complications, and, just so many things that they had to implement, and so much money that was just going out into, what they had to do really to make it work. But when I look and I sit back and I compare their stories to what I'm actually experiencing here with OG, I have to say it's really just a blessing. It really is just an amazing thing what we have when you sit there and you compare the two. I mean, other companies, I'm pretty sure they're great, in their own respect. However, what we have here is truly simple. It's a cup of coffee. It's a cup of coffee. It's not anything, I don't understand. It's just a cup of coffee. We do this every day. We drink it every day. People are drinking hot chocolate and tea, and just they share it with one another. You have people come over. What's the first thing you do? You offer them a cup of coffee. You offer them something to drink, a cup of tea. That's what we do. Only thing is, we're getting paid. We're getting paid to do what people do regularly. And what we have is just an amazing product. It's a healthy alternative to what people are already doing, and it's changing lives. Why not just give someone a cup of coffee and make a difference in someone's life? How does it taste, and how does it make you feel? That's it. It is really just that simple. And, you know, I know we've been hearing it over and over again. We just have to do it. Just do it. It's no, every time I hear, you know, our leaders going over the 4 steps, I'm like, it's just it. That is the secret. That's the whole shebang. That's the secret. That's the whole kit and caboodle, guys. It's just the 4 steps. It's not 3, it's 4. It's not 2, it's 4. And if we just stay consistent with that and work it out, and truly the number one thing, you know why I think, Mr. Richardson, why we make it so difficult? It's us. It's really us. Guys, we've got to improve who we are. We've got to really get this thing right within ourselves. And then we'll start attracting those people. A lot of times we question. I'm always about being transparent. I need to attract the type of people, the type of leaders that I want in my organization, so I truly have to work more on myself. There's nothing wrong with the system. The system is solid. It's just that simple. It's me that has to improve and just be consistent and continue to apply those 4 steps every single day. So, you know, again, Mr. Richardson, I just appreciate the training. I appreciate you, sir, and your leadership, and I just turn the call back over to you.
Well, thank you very much, Ms. Quinones. Any other leaders want to share before we go out there and do these 4 steps over and over and over again?
Yes, sir, Mr. Richardson.
Yes, sir.
Tony Dean, I was on mute. How you doing? How you guys doing today?
Take it away, Mr. Dean.
I would take Deborah Quinones and you, Mr. Richardson, y'all hit it right on the nose. It's just basically going out and serving people some coffee. Just serve people a cup of coffee, have conversation. Yesterday we did about 4 drive-bys, and basically we just met people in the moment, sat down, had a cup of coffee. They were so intrigued. You know, one prospect was more or less, hey, you know, it's just like they didn't have a clue. We did a presentation. It was like it went right over their head. We know that's going to happen.
There are 114 callers are already on the conference. Please announce yourself.
Works really well. I did my first 30 days in the business. I just started serving people coffee. And I had like 21 appointments in one day, and I sponsor 18 distributors just serving coffee. So that's my take on it. Just keep it simple. Don't overanalyze and over-intellectualize the business. Just go out and serve people. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. And each Ms. Quinones and Mr. Dean have raised topics that could be their own training sessions. And the one thing that I do want to bring up is Mr. Dean talking about things that have worked in the past. Nothing was magical, nothing was secret. But oftentimes, ladies and gentlemen, we've done something, whether in other parts of our life or in this business most specifically, that have enabled us to be successful, and we stop doing them. We forget about them. That's why every single one of us should have a went well journal. That's why there's a How I Went Diamond journal. How I Went Diamond journal. Because it's the roadmap. But it's just going to be the 4 steps. It's just going to be the 4 steps in a different way in your own stories. But capture what's working, get rid of what's not, and duplicate it. That's the secret. Each and every one of us can do this business and is doing the business from time to time. The key is do it consistently and duplicate it. That's where wealth's going to come from. Final leader opportunity to share before we go out there and close out this call. All right, that's it, ladies and gentlemen. We have the coffee break call that starts in 45 minutes. We have calls going on all day long. You know when they are. You call into the main number. Go out there, follow the 4 steps, meet some people, have some fun, get this thing done. This has been Stephen Diamond Richardson of Northern California. Let's go out there and have some fun, ladies and gentlemen. It's easy. It's simple. It's just coffee. Take care.